authority can be handled through those channels, and I can undertake that as an individual. And so I'm a little reluctant to rely on my state legislature to be making those determinations, mostly in part because I question the effectiveness of it. And I also question the propriety of the two governments infringing on each other's spheres. And I do think that school desegregation is a good example of that. The students who were fighting for the right to attend those schools that were being desegregated, they had a right under federal law and the federal constitution. Had the state stepped in and said, we think that the federal constitution is being incorrectly applied here or incorrectly decided, and the state had shut off those students' ability to be able to avail themselves of the protections that are guaranteed them as a federal citizen, I think that we start running into some questions about what are the proper channels for an individual to be able to assert his or her rights under each system.
Now, we've run to the end of our time. I want to sum up quickly in about 2 minutes. I'm going to mischaracterize all of the arguments and cover 200 years of history.
In one breath.
In one breath. But the thing I want to emphasize is that this debate has been going on for 2 centuries. The debate that took place at the time the Alien Citizens Acts sort of fell along this divide. The Jeffersonians were of the view that a weak central government was the best way to preserve liberty. And they were looking at the government as the threat to liberty. The Federalists said, no, the best way to preserve liberty is through a strong central government. They were looking outside. Their experience was that the foreign threat, and essentially the British threat, to this brand new government, the French threat, well, except they're Jacobins, was the thing to be concerned about, that outsiders would come in and destroy this experiment. And so that tension is, again, between the powers of the states, the power of the federal government, and it's been going on for 200 years. We had a war over that sort of thing. So, I don't think we're in a constitutional crisis. We could reach that point.
I think we are.
Stewart thinks that we are. But what we do know is that after the New Deal, the power of federal government has increased substantially. We've got a broader understanding or a broader interpretation of what the Commerce Clause means, which means more congressional power. The spending power has been asserted aggressively to establish federal as opposed to state laws. But we also have to recognize that there's been a lot of good that's come out of that. The Social Security Act was an exercise of the federal spending power. Federal water and air pollution laws have cleaned up the United States when it would have been impossible to do so at the state level because, as I say, the race to the bottom. So I think this has been a wonderful discussion, and please give yourselves a hand, give our panelists a hand. No. I was making a joke.
I guess she's probably the one I know best.
Say, Mark, you got something?
Thank you. How many slots are there?